Whoever you follow may be Hamza or andrewtate or I don't even know who you follow. They all have a certain thing in their life story where they did things that made zero sense but seem integral to their character. And that is not by coincidence. Why am I like this? You might have asked yourself this before, and the answer seems to always elude you. You might fixate on certain habits you cannot keep, like working out or working on your business. You might fixate on results you are not getting, like girls or money. But at the end of the day, it's something deeper. You feel it in your stomach that there is something you are just missing that successful people have. I know exactly who I'm talking about here because I'm talking about my younger self, and it is not by any stretch of the imagination all the little habits or all the little wins. It's all about a core thing missing, and that is life experience. Going back, watching older people that are successful, you will pick up on one thing that those people were quote unquote crazy. They did things that made zero sense at the time and did not even have a good reason for doing them. They might have gotten out and gotten drunk a lot and done parties and stupid shit and got into accidents. They might have taken on huge amounts of debt to start a business or just have a trip or whatever. They might be the kind of person that gets into fights, but all in all, they all have this common thing where they do things that are seemingly unrelated to their success. Things that seem stupid, things that any logical person would tell you to avoid, but you cannot dismiss how common it is between all of them. Whoever you follow may be Hamza or Andrew Tate or I don't even know who you follow. They all have a certain thing in their life story where they did things that made zero sense but seem integral to their character. And that is not by coincidence. These people, they either grew up in a different generation or they are a few of the select people of our generation that had a more, let's say, adventurous childhood. But most people nowadays have a childhood of being soft, of their parents cuddling them, of their parents not letting them go out and play, not letting them go to school on their own, not letting them go to practice or whatever on their own. And in general, they have very protective parents, as did I. And that creates a huge mess for you. And the more sinister thing is that this mess is invisible. It is invisible because it's coated by protecting you from a bunch of decisions that seem and are, to a large extent, stupid. Things that you would do because you are young and you have a lot of energy and you don't really think forward enough. But all these experiences, they build you up in a certain way. They really build up your self-confidence. They build up your ability to take risk, which as you get older, you get rid of the part where you don't think and you take calculated risks. But when from a young age you are very protected and you are trained to be very risk averse, you don't have the capacity to take risks even when they make sense. You are very oriented towards safety and towards everything being orderly and everything being calculated. And this is a very feminine way to view life. And I'm not sure if feminine is the right word, but I'm going to call it feminine. It's when we lived in nature, women were more safety oriented because they had to. They were more physically vulnerable to the environment, and also their mating success did not hinge on them taking big risks and going through with them and getting disproportionately large results. Across all human time, most women got to reproduce while most men did not. And the men that did reproduce were the men that were adventurous and risk taking because that was the only way to really excel and have a chance at it. But today, most of our parents have they lived a life where they had that adventure, but they did not recognize the value that it had. So, by their good hearts, they tried to create a shell around us, a protective layer that is going to keep us from making the mistakes they made and is, in general, going to keep us safe. And couple that with the fact that even 40 and 50-year-old men nowadays are soft and they don't really have an opinion and they crumbled against society's impulse for safety. And you can understand that we're mostly raised by women. Even if men are in the house, we are raised by women. We are raised in a feminine way. So what you are really missing is not a bunch of habits, it is not a bunch of tricks, it is not something organic, something in your body. You are simply missing being raised by a real man. And you might be in despair right now because you can't really go back in time and get raised by a real man. But do not worry, there's still things you can do, and you can really excel in today's society because even though everybody is at a very low point, there's also very little competition, and thinking right and thinking like a real man, you have to take advantage of that competition or that lack of. And thinking like a real man, you have to take advantage of the situation, take advantage of the lack of competition, and over time you're going to enter the spaces that are actually dominated by real men that do have that grit that you see in the people you admire. And at that point, you will have to step your game up. But right now, the competition is ridiculously easy to beat. So just put in some work, some minimal amount of effort, and you will start getting results. And as you start getting results, you will naturally surround yourself with other men that are getting results. Iron sharpens iron. And after that, it's easy going. So, what you're really feeling is how it feels to be raised like a woman. And what you have to do about that is you have to get some results so you can get yourself surrounded by men. And at that point, you are all set. Just don't be a bitch about it. Remember that everything you think and feel right now is just a figment of your imagination. It is just chemicals in your brain, it does not really define you. So ignore it for the time being because it is programmed to make you feel and act like a lady, and go on with your life until you can stop ignoring your feelings because your feelings are going to be the feelings of a real man. Just don't be a bitch.